home, which is in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I had a phone number to dial in, but unfortunately that number did not work so that I could cast my no vote. But back to some positive things about the airport. Hartsfield is currently and has been the world's busiest airport in terms of passenger traffic for 20 years. It has 5 parallel runways, 193 gates on 7 concourses, 8 airlines, with Delta being the dominant carrier, operating 120 of those 193 gates. Over 100 million passengers flew through Hartsfield in 2017, and officials expect that number to continue to rise. We are not just dealing with any old organization. We are talking about the biggest economic award-winning engine in the state. Changes to the Hartsfield management structure not only affects the Atlanta City Council, it also impacts 63,000 jobs in the airport and 448,000 jobs in the region. The Senate Study Committee acknowledged Hartsfield's continued economic success. When comparing Hartsfield to other airports of the 50 busiest airports in the U.S., the majority are operated by a municipal entity, such as a city or county, similar to Hartsfield. The Senate Study Committee focused on 2 areas of this reorganization: what federal laws and regulations must be compiled with to accomplish a transfer, and what financial obligations must be considered during a transfer. But one of the things that we did not address is something called a change of control provision that is found in some of the airport's major contracts. For example, the airport use and lease agreement between Hartsfield, Delta, and Southwest, which has changed of contract provision that specifically prohibits the transfer of management from the city. The current agreement was signed in 2017 and has a 20-year term, which does not expire until 2036. How can the takeover take place? I think it is wise to also focus on understanding the liabilities and responsibilities of actual running the busiest airport in the world. How would this authority replicate the intergovernmental corporations associated with municipalities-run airports? How would this new authority replicate the 90-plus years of institutional knowledge that the city of Atlanta has accumulated running Hartsfield? The idea that a state-run authority could do a better job is subjective, to say the least. The study committee's research was based on the idea that the procurement process is broken and a state-run authority can do better. But I say, if the procurement process is broken, then fix it. Why would you try to take over the whole airport to fix the procurement process? It would seem much better, more effective and efficient to implement collaborative efforts to correct the issue rather than completely scrapping an extreme complex structure that has developed our state's biggest economy engine in the state. Even Delta CEO Ed Bastian stated, Hartsfield is the best-run airport in the world, and the city has done a fine job managing it. Also, there seems to be this idea that the city profits from the airport, but that's simply not true. In fact, the Federal Aviation Administration regulations explicitly prohibit revenue diversion, funneling the money away from the airport. The Atlanta airport is run as a separate fund from the city's general fund. And I'd just like to cite some things, some positive things that have happened in 2018. Atlanta was awarded the following: Global Efficiency Excellence Award. In the 15th year of the airport's operation. Airport Safety Mark of Distinction, the FAA Southern Region Airports Division. The Best Airport Dining Award from the Global Travel Magazine. Excellence in Airport Concession, second place, from the Airports Council International. Favorite Airport in North America, the Tracy Travel. Favorite Airport Dining from Tracy Travel. Visual and Performing Arts Award from the Airport Art Program, the Governor's Award for the Arts. And so I say to you, let's not fix something that's not broken. And I encourage you to vote against Senate Bill 131. And the last thing I want to say, I did some checking, and the city of Atlanta does not own any property in Gwinnett County, as the senator from the 45th stated. So, Mr. President, I'm not an expert on airports, and so I don't expect to answer any questions, so I'll yield the well. I just wanted to make some positive points about the airport on today while we are facing an airport takeover. Thank you.
Senator has yielded the well. I'd like to recognize the senator from the 38th as the final speaker to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this is going to be short, very short. After listening to the discussion this morning, the debate, I had a few comments that I want to make. One is, this legislative body takes pride in the right of local control. What are we doing? Trying to take away local control. I want you to think about that. You all talk about local control all the time, so you need to think about what you're doing. There is a process to the procurement of vendors' concessions at the airport. There is an actual process. They actually get a score. That is how it is determined who is going to get a concession. The vendor that is in question, or why this bill was brought, number one, did not complete the process. Didn't complete the process. Obviously, they couldn't get a score that would allow them to get a concession at the airport. It's a simple thing. They could have gone back, taken care of whatever it was that they hadn't done correctly, and presented it again. It's not a difficult thing. So I just want you to use some, as I try to do, use some common sense in this particular issue, as opposed to trying to take something away, taking local control away, not following the process. Just use some common sense. It's not a big deal. I really appreciate you listening to my little common sense, and I ask for you to vote against this particular piece of legislation and restore your common sense by doing that. Thank you. I yield the well.
Senator has yielded the well, and that ends debate on the issue. I'd like to recognize the senator from the 25th, the author of the measure, to close debate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, members of this body, for being patient with this process, and I appreciate all the comments from both sides. I don't think I can touch on everything that was all the different things that were said here in this well, but I will say this: when I say we as a Senate body, and also as a study committee, made every effort to try to correct what we see as an issue. And we were met with a stonewall type approach to things. We met and we had great conversations and everything, but there just seemed to be no solutions to our issue. Now, when we sit here and talk about local control, I'm glad you brought that up because local control, if it was truly local control, we'd be talking to Clayton County right now, because 70% of the airport is in Clayton County. And so when you say the locals should have a little say in things, I would agree with you, and so that's why with these amendments that have been offered, I'd like you to vote down every amendment with the exception of 7, 7A, 7B, and 8, and so if y'all could vote for those amendments and vote against everything else, I would greatly appreciate it. One of those amendments adds 2 members of Clayton County to the board, and I think that is correct. Clayton County, I feel your pain because I've had to endure rumors being spread about me, bully type tactics that have gone on and trying to scare me into moving forward on this legislation, and I know that's happened to the Clayton County delegation as well as the citizens as well, pertaining to an airport that is largely inside their jurisdiction. So I ask for your approval on 131, the final bill. Vote down every amendment with the exception of 7, 7A, 7B, and 8. And thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Senator has yielded the well. We will begin the process of taking up 13 separate amendments. 13 separate amendments. We'll start with amendment number 1. The question is on the adoption of amendment number 1. Is there objection to the amendment? There's objection. There's a call for yeas and nays. Do I have 5 senators that want the yeas and nays? We'll go to the machines. All those in favor of the amendment from the senator from the 39th will vote yea, opposed nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. For what purpose does the senator from the 42nd rise?
Mr. President, I was just going to move the yeas and nays.
For what purpose does the senator from the 19th rise?
Point of order, Mr. President.
State your point of order.
Is it not true that if this amendment were to pass and the bill eventually passed, that it would require 3/4 vote of the City Council of Atlanta for anything to build within 3 miles of the airport?
I'm certain the gentleman knows of what he speaks. For what purpose does the senator from the 39th rise?
Is it not true, Mr. President, that if you really want transparency in what's happening at the airport, that you will vote for this amendment?
Each and every member will make that decision. On the adoption of the amendment, the yeas are 21, the nays are 33, and the amendment is lost. We will now take up amendment number 2. The question is now on the adoption of amendment number 2. Is there objection to adoption of the amendment? There is objection. All those in favor of the adoption of the amendment from the senator from the 10th will rise, stand, and be counted. Do we have 5 for the yeas and nays? Let's go to the machines. All those in favor of the amendment from the senator from the 10th will vote yea, opposed nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. On the adoption of the amendment, the yeas are 20, the nays are 35, and the amendment is lost. For what purpose does the senator from the 42nd rise?
Mr. President, I'd like to move the ayes and nays on all remaining amendments.
The chair recognizes that request and will do so. Thank you. All right, now we're taking up amendment number 3, 3A. Little bookkeeping. Amendment number 3A. All those in favor of the amendment will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary will unlock the machine on amendment. For what purpose does the senator from the 19th rise?
Point of order, Mr. President.
State your point of order.
Mr. President, is it not true that this amendment would actually put power in you that you do not want?
The gentleman certainly knows of what he speaks.
You would rather to keep that power with the body that's already been appointed for that.
The gentleman, once again, certainly knows of what he speaks. For what purpose does the senator from the 42nd rise?
Isn't it true, Mr. President, that would actually be Amendment 3? 3A just fixes a Scrivener's error in 3. Thank you.
The yeas are 21, the nays are 34, and this amendment is lost. We will now take up amendment number 3. There's objection. All those in favor of amendment number 3 will vote yea, opposed nay, and the secretary will unlock the machine. For what purpose does the senator from the 42nd rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, isn't it true that this is actually the one the senator from the 19th wants us to vote against? Because you don't want that power.
For what purpose does the senator from the 19th rise?
Point of order, Mr. President.
State your point of order.
Does the senator from the 42nd know what it does?
That's for each and every member to decide on their own. The yeas are 20, the nays are 35, and this amendment is lost. Now let's take up amendment number 4. For what purpose does the senator from the 45th rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, I would ask for germaneness of this amendment number 4 because it relates to issues here on Capitol Hill. It has nothing to do with the airport, and I would like a ruling on that, please.
In anticipation of this question, the chair has examined the amendment, and the fundamental purpose of the underlying bill provides an airport authority, and this amendment simply provides a lactation room at the Capitol or the CLOB. The chair has ruled that this amendment is not germane. Is not germane. State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that I wasn't even given an opportunity to respond to that motion of germaneness?
It's not debatable.
Isn't this actually isn't in terms of the airport, it's about the authority given to the governor, which is also part of the airport bill, the underlying bill, and specifically deals with Title 45.
The chair has ruled it non-germane. Chair recognizes the senator from the 31st. For what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I would ask that the Senate Rule 5-1.10 be read for the Senate, please.
Can you state that rule again?
More specifically, the last sentence in the 5-1.10B, relative to members voting.
Chair would ask the secretary to read the rule.
The last sentence of Rule 5-1.10B states that if it is ascertained that there is a quorum present, either by answering to their names or their presence in the Senate, the refusal of any senator present to vote, unless excused, shall be deemed contempt of the Senate.
All right, moving on to Amendment 5A. Amendment 5A. Is there objection to Amendment 5A? There's objection. Is there objection to 5A? No objection. 5A is adopted. Moving on to 5B. Is there objection? No objection. No objection to 5B. 5B is adopted. Moving on to amendment number 5. Is there objection? There's objection. All those in favor, vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. The chair moved faster than the machine. All right, on 5A, all those in favor of the amendment? 5. All those in favor of Amendment 5, vote yea. Opposed, nay, and the Secretary will unlock the machine. For what purpose does the senator from the 36th rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, isn't it true that if you believe that you want to have transparency and sunshine in the process, you'll vote yes on number 5, or everything you've been saying today would seem to be a bit off kilter?
For what purpose does the senator from the 19th rise?
Mr.
State your
President,
inquiry.
is it not true that if you vote for amendment number 8, you can still get that sunshine in this bill?
On the adoption of the amendment, as amended, the yeas are 21, the nays are 35, and the amendment is lost. Now we'll take up amendment number 6. Amendment number 6. Is there objection? There's objection. All those in favor of the amendment will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Amendment number 6. All right, so on the adoption of the amendment, the yeas are 21, the nays are 35, and the amendment is lost. We'll now take up Amendment 7A. Is there objection? There is no objection, and 7A is adopted. We now take up Amendment 7B. Is there objection? There is objection to 7B. All those in favor of the amendment from the senator from the 31st will vote yea, opposed nay, and the secretary will unlock the machine. 7B. On the adoption of the amendment, the yeas are 35, the nays are 20, and the amendment is adopted. Now we will take up amendment number 7. Is there objection? Amendment number 7, is there objection? There's no objection, and the amendment is adopted. Now we will take up amendment number 8. Is there objection? There's no objection, and amendment number 8 is adopted. All right, the question is now on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted as amended. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall the main question be now put? Are there any objections? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Shall this bill now pass by substitute? The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. State your inquiry.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. President. Isn't it true that if you uphold local control and respect the autonomy of political subdivisions and respect the opinions of the Chamber of Metro Atlanta and of the Georgia Municipal Association, you will vote no?
On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 34, the nays are 22. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed by substitute. All right, we are going to recess for lunch. I would ask that everybody be back in the chambers at 2:50 sharp. 2:50, and lunch is being served in the Secretary's office. In the break room. The Secretary of the Senate's office break room. We've got lunch for all members. See you at 2:50 sharp.